So this is an example. I don't like to show you the code because it's your assignment, but you can use the code. You can use the code for you know, addition of two numbers. It's almost the same. Now I have a third version. Okay. Like this is automatic, no? So there's no compute button. It automatically converts. Okay. Okay. This is the also in the third version of the, you know, of the assignment, which of the example which I have shown you. Okay. And then you will have the next assignment that you will have is income tax computation. Okay. So given an income tax, rather given an income, compute the tax payable to the government, to BIR, no? So here's the, no, the example. So you know the table, no? The table is shown in Dagler. You can also access the table by Googling it. It's in the BIR site. No? For example, if your annual income or your yearly income is 250,000 or less, no? You will be exempted. It's 200,000. No? However, if it's above 250, you will be charged at 20%, I think. No? It's in the table. If you have 800,000, okay, you have 100,000 payable. Okay. So this is the table for the calculator is in our Dagler site. Okay, you look up the table. This is an application of if then else. No? Okay, and the next is the averaging of numbers. Okay. Do we have average? Okay, but it's like this, no? It's like this, no? The first natural numbers, the fourth factorial, for example, you will compute the fourth factorial, the average of, you will print the numbers, no? The first natural numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4. You will compute the factorial, 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And you will also compute the sum and the average. Okay? Any questions? And the last assignment will be payroll. It's like this, no? I'm going to show you the example every day, no, until we finish next week. Here's the payroll program. The payroll program will ask for the name of the employee, no, the daily rate, and the number of days work. For example, we'll say John. Okay, the days work is 3. The daily rate is 500. Okay. The amount of deduction, for example, is right, there are deductions, no, 120, and then we add employee. So we have the employee John, and then the total pay at 1,380. We'll have Peter, for example, no, at 4 days of work at, so say 600 with a deduction of 200. Okay, we add employee, so we have this. Okay, and then for example we have Mary, then we have 5. Excuse me a while, no? Sorry for the disturbance. So shall we say 600? The deduction is 300. So we add employee. So we have the following now. You should have a facility to delete. For example, you want to delete Peter, so you say 2. You say delete, like that, no? And you also have the facility to clear the payroll to start from scratch again. Okay. Okay. So this is an application on the use of arrays, no, and objects in JavaScript. You follow? Any questions so far? So you can do that. You can download, no, Visual Studio Code if you want to do it like this, and you insert an add-in. No, you install an add-in, using called Live Server. There's an instruction in our Dagler site on how to install the Dagler and the add-in. Okay. So anyway, all my examples are in graheralde.w3spaces.com. No, I have specified that in my in our Dagler site. If you look at if in case you forget, no, it's in our Dagler site. It's printed in bold so you can easily access. No? So all the examples in JavaScript are hosted in W3 Spaces. Ito, no? graheralde.w3spaces.com. Now, when you create your website, you have to be careful not to overuse it because the free account only allows you 500 requests a month. No, I almost have reached the limit. I reached 466 requests. That's why I have to buy an account. No, it's a very cheap account. No, at $0.99 a month only for this month, so I can have a lot of access. No, in one request is like one addition to a file. Once every time you save a file, every time you delete a file, no, that's one request. You should only be, you are only allowed 500 requests a month. Okay, in my case, I have almost reached the limit, so I have to purchase the account, the basic account. They extended it to 2,500 requests. Okay, you will know the requests because when you go to settings of your account, no, rather no, to your spaces. If you go to your spaces, no, so you will have here, no, you have for the moment I have 183 requests and I have 1 MB of data. Okay. Okay, it has served 1 MB, okay, of data, and anyway, I am reserved with 500 MB of data per month. The storage allowed is 500 MB. Okay, do you follow? Okay. This is a basic account. This is not a free account. Anyway, I'll check the attendance later, no? Again, so here are the examples, no? For example, the add two numbers using prompts, it's here. You have a buck, you can do this. Okay. Okay, so you can add again, no? So, okay, so you have the sum, and then you can go back to the home page. Now, if you want to look at the code behind this, you can right click on an empty space and view page source. That's the code, no? So we have a button called on compute the sum. This is the label on the button. This is how to declare a button in HTML, no? And then we have a button called compute the sum. And we have an on-click event, which is called when the button is clicked. No? So this will call the function click btn, and the function should be written in JavaScript. Now you see that the JavaScript function that is written here is almost like C++, except that there is no function type. Most of the lines are almost like C++, except the declaration. No? So JavaScript is a typeless language, which means you don't have to declare a data type, although there are 3 basic data types: strings, numbers, and booleans. But the data type is assigned automatically depending on the value that you assign. For example, A here is a string because of the single double quotes, the 2 single quotes. X is an integer because of 0, Y is an integer because of 0. Now if you use a decimal place, it will be automatically be a float. Although they're just the same as numbers. No? So we have strings, numbers, and booleans. Okay. We convert A into an integer, and then we convert B also into an integer, and then we compute the sum of X and Y, which are the converted values of A and B. And then what is document.write? Document.write, that function is actually a JavaScript function that will allow us to write an additional line in our HTML code after the last. No? For example, we say H2, document.write H2, it will add a last after the BR. No? Do you follow? The sum is, okay? And then we document.write an href. No? It starts with a BR tag so that there will be a break. And then we say add again. Okay. Add again refers to the same file, add two numbers, view1.html, or we go back to the home page, okay, which is index.html. Okay, so if you look at this, no, 3, 4, okay. So we have add again and back to home page. Okay. So you try this yourself, no? I may not have to try to test them all over again, no? Myself. Now, this is the second version of add two numbers, where you type numbers 3, 4, and then you compute the sum. Okay, you can. There's no add again because you can just change and then recompute the sum. Okay, sorry, I went back now. Okay, and then there's a back to home page. You can view the source code also by right-clicking on a white space and then view page source. No? So this is a technique which uses inputs. No, inputs are like scanf in C++. So who's doing Python here? You're all doing C++ yourself. Okay. Okay. So anyway, so in HTML, an input is like a scanf, but we assign an ID and a name. No, and a name is optional. An ID is required if you will access it later. For example, the first input is named is ID'd as N1. The second input is ID'd as N2. Now the label is a label that comes before the input. Sometimes you can say that the input is read only because we may want to write a value to it, like we want to display the sum. Okay, the label for the ID sum is called also sum. Okay, the ID is sum label. Okay, so that when we say document get by element by ID, N1 dot value times 1, whatever is encoded in N1 will be retrieved into the variable X. Okay, we multiplied it by 1 so that it converts to a number. And then we say get element by ID N2 dot value also gets the value of the ID, input ID N2. Okay, you can disregard the console.log, no? You can study that later. And then we compute the X and Y function. And then here's the sum label, no? Here's the ID of the sum label. Hope you can see that. We get element by ID. When we say that inner HTML, we are going to change the HTML of the sum label, which means this part is going to be changed, no? By the instead of the sum is, it will say the sum of X and Y is. They follow? And then we get element by ID sum. So this is which is an input element. Okay, so sum is the ID, and then we assign it a value of Z. Okay, not inner.html. Inner.html is used to edit the HTML. Okay, when you say that value, it's actually the input value, just like as if it was typewritten by the user. Okay. Okay, so you can use these inputs, no, in order to write your first assignment. Okay, so that's how it works. So if you run this, so that's N1. 232 is N1. 2 is N2. 2. I mean, you compute sum. This is now the sum label. Okay, and this is the ID sum. This is the ID sum label. Okay, and this is the ID N1. This is the ID N2. This is the label for N1. This is the label for N2. Okay, and then we click by going back to the home page. Okay. You can view the source code of this home page, you know, also by right clicking. This is one of the W3 CSS templates which you can download or which you can view in your space, no? Kasi when you are in your spaces, no? So let's say you show the files, no? No, it's not. It's not in the home page. No, but you can Google W3 CSS templates. No, it will give you the CSS templates. Okay, you follow? Let's go back to the home page. Okay. Okay. There's also an automatic. No, I have shown you this before. Let's just review this. Automatic ito without a compute button. Okay, so 12 plus 12 is 24. If you change this to 45, it also changes. No? How is that done? We will use an on-key up. On-key up event on the input. Do you follow? So in N1, we have, of course, a type number. No, we have an on-key up event. On-key up, we will compute. We will call the JavaScript function compute sum. Also, we call the same function on-key up on the input N2, so that whatever happens either to N1 or N2, okay, the sum will be computed. We still have the sum label, okay, and we still have the input sum. So we also get now the compute sum is called automatically. So this is not a click btn. Okay, this is not a click btn, but it's an on a key up. So, the key up event is called when you press a key on the keyboard and you release it. So we have the same function. No, we get N1 the N1 value to X, N2 value to X, and then the sum label is the same. It's the same. It's the same function. No, okay, it's the same flow. Okay. Now the if then else. No, we will be discussing the if then else today. So we have here grade computation 1 using if else statements. Now, when you compute the grade, this is an application that computes the grade of a student score in a particular exam. Do you follow? Now, for example, you want to know your equivalent grade. If you're taking a formative test, in this class. For example, you have a score of 55 over 100, and the base is 40. Okay. The formula for computing the grade is score over items times quantity 100 minus base over base. Okay, and then you compute grade. So the equivalent grade is 73, but it classifies it. It converts this to the letter grade. So the equivalent is D. Shall we say if you have 50, compute grade, the equivalent is F. Okay, shall we say if you have 80, okay, the equivalent is B plus. What will it happen if you have 90? The equivalent is A. Do you follow? Do you follow? Now, this is okay. We use the on-click function of the button compute grade. On-click function we will compute grade. Now to compute the grade, okay. Next questions. Questions. Okay. To compute the grade, we are going to extract the score by the function get element by ID of score. There's score. Score is an input. Okay. Then items is also an input. Base is also an input. So we are going to get them into the variables X, Y, and Z respectively. And to compute, we'll say we can disregard this now. The console.log, you can disregard this. It will just log it on the background of the browser. So to compute, we call math.round function to round off. Actually, you don't have to round, but it's good that you can round it off. Math.round function, G is the equivalent grade. It's X over Y times quantity 100 minus base plus base. Now here is the if then else. This is like the equivalent of this is C++ syntax. If G is lesser than 72, we this LG equals F. If G is greater than or equal to 72 and G is lesser than or equal to 75, D is A. Do you follow? And then after computing for the letter grade, which is either A to D and F, it will get the element ID of the inner HTML of grade. Grade is, what is grade? Okay, grade is an H2. Do you follow? And letter grade is an H2 also below it. So the inner HTML is, okay, the computation, and the resulting grade is LG. Okay, do you follow? So for Python, no, for Python, no, Python users, the if else syntax is like this, no. If X is almost the same, but instead of open close parentheses, you just terminate it with a colon. And then instead of open and close brackets, okay, Python programmers, you indent. Okay, there's no open close, but the indented lines are those that belong to the if scope. Okay, unlike in C# where the scope of the if is in between the open and close curly braces. In Python, you just indent, and then you have another else, no? And then you indent the scope of the else. Okay, and then if you have if else ifs. So the same thing, no? But you can enclose this in parentheses. Okay. Else ifs. Let's have Python else ifs. W3 schools na lang. A tutorial's point is also. So you nest your else, no? In Python, you elif pala, no, I'm sorry. There's an elif. Okay? Python users. Are there Python users here? So an else if is an elif. Okay? In C#, it's called else space if. Okay? So Python is called elif. And then you just indent. Okay? Any questions so far? So this is the grade computation. You will use this. You will be using this to use to convert the payroll program, or rather the income tax program. Okay, so income tax program, it's like this. It's a much easier program, no? It's almost like the grade computation program, no? So this is an if then else, no? This should not be score, okay? Let me edit this. It's not score, but it should be taxable income. So you see, there's a series of. Okay. So your income tax is computed according to your income. A brief preview of the code shows that you should have some else and if and else ifs. Okay, but I don't like you to show that to you, no. So yeah, let me hide this. Okay, so ito yung income tax calculator. So this is like the same logic of the this is the same logic as the grade computation. Okay, do you follow? So sa Python, elif lang, no? Elif to be more specific. Okay, any questions? Now, let me show you another program, no? Another version. Another version of the grade program, no? Which classifies the letter grade using switch statement, no? It classifies it as passing or good or failing, no? For example, you have 50 over 100 times a base of 40. You compute the grade. You say that's a failing grade, no? But when you have 55, that is 72, that's a passing grade. Okay, kasi 72 yung cut-off, no? And then when you say 80, that's a very good grade. When you say 90, that's an excellent grade. How about a 75? That's a good grade. You follow? 60, that's an average grade. Okay? They follow? You look at the source, no? Can you see that? We still have the same grade computation. But after we have computed, okay, the letter grade, we will also classify using the switch statement. Okay, do we have a switch statement in Python? Wala pala, no? But there's a replacement. This is in C#, no? So we don't have. This is C# syntax now, which is exactly like JavaScript. So it's a much more complicated, no? Do you follow? Switcher. You will have to define functions. In Python, def means define function. Okay. It's really more complicated, no? So it's not advisable to use that, no? Anyway, the switch, the switch, no, the switch code, or rather function, is just this is not the one, no? It's just a shorthand for a long else, if and else ifs. Okay, so in Python you just use, you can substitute this with an if and else ifs. But if you look at this, no, this is exactly the same syntax as C++. Okay, and we get a gr comment, no. This is the grade comment. Okay, this is a passing. CP is the CM and CP, no, an excellent, no, a very good grade, no? CM is the grade comment, okay, and the preposition CP, independent, so that it will be grammatically correct. So this is the gr comment, and this is the letter grade, letter G. They're used as H2s, and then we retrieve them using get element by ID. Okay, do you follow? Any questions so far? So you need this for the income tax calculation program. Okay. Any questions so far? No. I'm assuming here that you all know C++, okay? So have you tried switch in C++, everyone? Everyone? Okay, so I assume you exactly know the syntax. No? If, else, if. So you can just view the source code and you can use this as an example to make your assignment. Okay? Okay. So let's go. Let me go back there. Any questions so far? So this is it. Okay. Now we will go to loops. Okay. Excuse me a while. No? I'm getting thirsty here. Okay. While loops. Have you discussed while loops? What's the difference between a while loop and a do while loop? Okay. Then I'll check the attendance after this. No? Hanggang anong oras ba tayo magtatapos? But anyway, we'll just finish this. No? The difference between a while loop and a do while loop is the condition in a while loop is at the beginning. The condition in a do while loop is at the end of the loop. We have discussed looping concepts before, no? So a while loop requires a condition for continuation. A do while loop also requires a condition for continuation. But I assume that you do how to do while and do while in C++. You will need this in the third assignment, which is averaging, factorial, and sum. Okay? You follow? Of random numbers. Okay? What is a natural number? A natural number, when you say four natural numbers, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. No? The three natural numbers are 1, 2, 3. Okay? So for example, when you say printing natural numbers, you'll ask for the value for n. Shall we say 4? Show the numbers. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. When you say 10, okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now your additional assignment will be to show the factorial, no? The average, and the sum. Okay. Now you can print these natural numbers using while loops. Let's look at no. We will have a loop counter called I. You know what I is, right? You know the syntax for I++. Okay, it will add 1 to I. Okay. So n text is the next number, no? Because we are going to show, okay, the numbers to the paragraph. We are going to use a paragraph to show the numbers, okay? The ID is n numbers. Okay, the title will be the first n numbers are, and the element numbers is inner.html, where n text is just added, no? The number that was last generated. I starts +1. So when you say n text plus equals I plus space, it creates a string. Automatically, I is converted into a string, no? Okay, unlike C++, JavaScript will automatically convert values into strings if the receiving variable is a string. No, so all values will be converted according to the type of the receiving variable. Okay, you have I++. So this is C# syntax or C++ syntax. While R is lesser than to n limit. N limit is the number of, okay, the number of natural numbers to print. Okay, so that when you run this, n limit is 10 in this case. So when you say 8, n limit is 8. Okay, that's what we have. So this is the version which uses while loops. Okay, any questions so far? No. Now let us use the version which uses do while loops. Okay, it's the same, no? So say 5, show the numbers. Okay, This is the first five loops. However, instead of using a while loop, we'll say do while. And the condition is at the bottom. Okay? One of the distinct differences between a while loop and a do while loop. A do while loop will always execute at least once because the condition is evaluated at the bottom. Do you follow? While a while loop may not be executed at all because the condition is executed at the top. Okay? This is the same syntax you have here, no? Instead it uses a do while loop. Okay? Any questions so far? So it's the same syntax now. For loops. Okay, shall we say we have 5? Okay. Have you discussed for loops in C++? Everyone? Please tell me if you don't know the syntax of for loops. Okay. Okay, so you're very familiar. So it's the same syntax you have there. If you view page source, instead of using a while loop, I'm using this, okay? Take note, this is the for loop. Okay? So do you all understand this code? This is the initialization, I is equal to 1. This is the condition for continuation. And this is the repetition. Okay, I++, which means I is added once. And this is the body of the loop. Okay, this is the equivalent of the while loop. Rather the the while loop, because this is the condition is executed first, is evaluated first before the sequence will be initialization, condition, body, and then the tail of the loop, repetition. Okay, so the sequence of operation will be initialization, and then condition, and then the body, and then the repetition. Do you follow? That's how it's executed. So we don't have a plus plus anymore here because it's repeated anyway at the tail of the loop. Okay, you will need this in the program for averaging, and which is the third program, averaging and summation, and factorial. Okay. Any questions so far? No. Let's go back to home page. You can visit this this page for examples. Now we have random numbers, arrays. Have you discussed arrays already? Okay. Shall we say, let me generate 15 random numbers. Have you discussed randomization? No. So we generate 15 random numbers. We can sort the numbers. Have you done sorting, by the way? And then we can reverse the numbers. We sort them in the reverse order. Okay. Okay. And then we view the page source. Okay. So to get the numbers, we use the function called math.random. Okay. Times 100 because the random is 2 decimal places. We multiply it by numbers and we add it by 1 just to add to the randomization. And then the numbers here are stored in the variable called a numbers. This is how you initialize arrays. Everyone knows arrays, right? Do you follow? But we don't have array types. So we just declare this a numbers as the array of numbers. This is how you declare an array. Do you follow? To add a value to the array, we say push. Okay. We add it to the array. To remove a value from the array, we say pop. Okay. And then to sort the array, we say a numbers that sort. Okay. Take note that a numbers here is already declared, no? Here, no? Okay. To sort the numbers, we say A numbers that sort. This is the function to sort. We just show them the function. Return A minus B. To reverse, we say return A reverse. Okay, A that numbers that reverse. No? Do you follow? Now, there's a special for loop, no? Okay. For n of A numbers, this is like a for loop, no? For A is equal to 1 to n. And retrieve A of n. Okay. Do you follow? Okay. So this our numbers is actually our paragraph, no? Okay. We are going to put the strings in the paragraph called R numbers. Okay. We have here R numbers, no? Ito. Okay. Do you follow? And we have reverse numbers. Okay. So we are going to retrieve, no, the R numbers and give it the sorted source, the sorted string, the sorted paragraph. Okay. And then for the reverse numbers, we are going to get the ID reverse numbers and give it also R numbers, which is just the reverse, no? Kasi reverse ito eh, no? Do you follow? Do you get my point? We are in, mabilis na tayo ngayon, no? I'm doing this because we need time. We are hurrying for time, no? We're losing time. But anyway, I'm also assuming that you know C++ programming proficiently already at this point, okay? So nandito na tayo. Let's go back to home page. So that's about loops. No, I'll show you this later, no? Okay? Any questions so far? So you'll have everything you need to do the assignments here. You can just copy and paste and then change the contents. You can write the no. Okay? You can write your. I'd like you to create your home page like this, no? You have assignment number 1. Okay? Add to what is that? Assignment number 1 is conversion of values. Assignment number 2 is income tax computation. Assignment number 3 is averaging, summation, and factorial. Okay? And assignment number 4 is payroll. Now, the payroll program can be used or can be written using a modification of a shopping cart. No? I will discuss the shopping cart next meeting. Okay? Any questions so far? Let me check the attendance first. Anong oras ba tayo matapos? I always forget. No? $10:50. So we still have about 40 minutes more. No? So let me check the attendance first again. Nandito na yung kanina si Alcantara na wala na naman. Alcantara. Alcantara, are you there? Diyan. Wala ka sa yan. Next time you log in with your last name. So I can't see your name right directly na. Asombrado. Buwalan. Babuga. Kalubag. Kalubag, are you there? Chang. Chavez. Sean, you're there?
Opo, sir.
Cordova. Isena. Ishar. Digman.
Present, sir. Present.
Eloha. Eloha. Eramis.
Present, sir.
Butera. Lim. Narca. Navarez. Perez. Q. Ramirez, you're here. Paulo.
Present, sir.
Yes. Sensano, you're here. JM.
Present, sir.
Suarez.
Present, sir.
Valmoria. Valmoria, are you here? Gio, you're here. Simon. Andito na yun si Simon kanina, nawala. Simon. Yap. Okay. So I will email everyone, those who haven't created their W3 spaces yet. You need to have your W3 spaces because you will not be allowed to take the summative test without your spaces. And then the 4 assignments will take 30%. Will take 30% of your grade. Okay? Do you follow? So I'd like you to format your page like this. You will have a menu for assignments, no? Assignment number 1, assignment number 2, assignment number 3. You can use the source of this, no? You can use any source if you like, as long as you have the menu, so that it will be easier for me to find your assignments. Okay, hindi nyo po nalagyan ng akin, Sir Suarez. Anyone else? Okay, now let me check yours. No. Sino ba? So marami pang wala, no? Take A. Si Asilom taga dito ba? Is Asilom from here? Yes. Mark Asilom who is absent anyway, no? Let's try to find this out. And Arca. Okay. How about, let's go to Ramis. Let's look at that. No? Then we'll take up. So this is Asilom. Improve this, okay? Improve this. Arca. Okay. So you put your assignments, codes and programming. Okay. Source. So this is a template, no? Obviously, no, this is a template from W3 schools. So it's very good, no? Now you change the title here, okay? Arca. Arca, are you there? Yung title mo, the title, you change this so that the tab, no? So that the tab will not be W3 CSS, no? Look at the tab. If you look at the tab, the tab name is W3 CSS. Do you follow? Okay. Okay. That's Arca. And then this is, yes, the same Arca. What is this? Eramis. Let's look at this. Okay. Eramis, are you there?
Yes, sir.
You include a menu, no? You include
Pa.
for your, for the assignments.
Ah, yes, sir.
Okay. You include a menu here for your assignments. You can use any template. Now, the thing about this is you're not using any template. So, yeah, that's too simple. If you want to use a menu, you can use any W3 CSS template. I have checked Q, no? Tingnan natin yung kay Q. Okay. Make sure you will have your your video, your web pages, no, ready by next week. Okay, because I will start checking your assignments next week. Okay, what's this? Okay. Anyway, you can format your assignments like this also, no? Do you follow? Do you follow? No. But I prefer that you create a menu because there's so many, there's so many templates that you can use in w3.css. Do you follow? Q?
Yes, sir.
Oh, I suggest you use a WCSS template, like this, ito, because you can use a menu. It will be easier for me to check your assignment. Okay, you can view the code for this, no, or you can download any WCSS template, no, from W3 schools. Okay, okay, it's just copy and paste anyway, no. Tingnan na ba natin ito? Ramis, okay, we've seen this. Let's look at others, no? Let's go to L. Digman. Wala. Digman, you don't have any, wala pa, no? Create.
Wala pa, sir. Wala pa ako nakastart.
Make sure you create, ha? By
Yes, sir.
Monday.
Yes, sir.
Let's look at Chavez. Oh, nandito. Have you seen Chavez already? Okay. So this is, okay. Let's look at this. So this is a template from, okay, the W3 schools also, no? They follow. You put a menu, no, for your assignments. Chavez. You put a
Apa,
menu
sir.
for assignments, no? So that it will be easy for me to check your assignment. Okay?
Apa, sir. Apa.
I'm sure that's not difficult to do, no? You can copy my code if you like. Okay. L. Tingnan naman natin itong kay, no? Have we seen Lianto? Labuguen doesn't have any ano no. Landicho wala pa rin.
I submitted na po, sir.
Sino ito Labuguen?
Opo.
Bakit wala dito sa listahan?
Sa pinaka-last po, sir.
Nandito, okay. Labuguen, and do we have Landicho? Let's try to check. Tapos na natin to kay Lianto. Okay, so meron na siya assignment to. Feet meters to feet. I'd like this to be in one page, okay? Lianto. Lianto.
Yes, sir.
Can you do this in one page? All the assignments for conversion. Isang
Pwede,
assignment.
sir.
This is only one assignment, okay? Ang
Yes,
hirap
sir.
dito. Okay, one assignment yung Fahrenheit to Celsius, Celsius to Fahrenheit, meters to feet, and feet to meters. All in one page, okay? Okay. So you'll elaborate, no? You're using an elaborate template from W3, no? It's good that you use that, no? This will be very useful, no? Because you will have a web page development, no? You can use this again in the future, no? There's a portfolio. So but you can organize your menus like this also, no? It's up to you, no? Okay. Okay, yan to. So one assignment yung ano, no? Let's look at Landicho. Okay. This is written, but it's obviously written from scratch, no? No template, okay? It's okay, no? But can you make a menu, Landicho? Make a menu for your assignments, okay?
Yes, sir.
Para madali, it will be easier for me to check the assignments, okay? And then we'll have Labuguen, okay? Others, no? Make sure you have your, ano? So this is this a W3 template? Okay. Okay. Labuguen, make a menu.
Yes
No?
po, sir.
Make a menu.
Yes po.
Down menu. Okay. At natingnan na natin yung kay Mabano before, di ba? The others. Alcantara. Alcantara. You use W3 spaces. Okay? You go to w3spaces.com. Okay? And then you sign up. Alcantara, are you there? Alcantara is asking what software para makagawa ng website. You can use Visual Studio, no? That Visual Studio Code. But if you don't like, you can go to w3spaces.com and you sign up. And then you will be given an index.html. You already have a web page. This, okay? Okay, you will be given an index.html. You edit that page. You put down your page there using HTML. We have a lot of discussions regarding HTML already, okay? If you don't know how to do that, you can review our lessons. You can also review our videos. Okay? So W3 schools tayo, okay? Alcantara, did you follow? So you create a web page or website in W3 spaces. Okay? Any other questions? Let's look at ano. S. Is Simon here? Wala na si Simon. Sinsano, let's look at your ano. And Suarez. This is Sinsano. Okay. Okay. Photographer and web designer. Okay. Good, no? There's already a menu. You can add to the menu for your assignments, no? You follow? So you put your name there so that I will know. Sinsano? No, you're not John Doe. You put your name there so I will know, okay?
Yes, sir.
So that I will know right away. And put a menu for your assignments. Anyway, there's a menu here. You can easily, no, create a drop down from that, no? Suarez. Bakit wala? Suarez, what happened to your webpage?
Wala pa, sir.
It already has contents. Pero meron ka ng website? Do you already have the website?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so content na lang. So, yun ano. This is, wala pa ni. Simon. You have seen Labugwen? Ramis, we've seen. Let's look at Yumang, do you have a page? Yumang, wala pa.
Later pa ako later pa ako magawa, sir, since undecided pa ako sa template gani, sir.
Anyway, make sure it's up on by Monday, okay?
Okay, yes, sir.
Okay. Siap. Duha din ni Kayap. Okay, and then we'll have Zog. Zog, do you have your, no? Yes, let's look at Zog, no? Anyway, 10:50 pa tayo matatapos. Okay. So, okay. So, this is a manually created website, no? But you can start on this and create a menu, okay? Zog.
Yes po, sir.
Create a menu. Okay. Let's look at the other stuff. This is Anthony Yap, which is not yet. He's not here. Sino bang Yap nandito? Yap is John Kearney Yap pala, no? Anyway, tingnan na lang natin ito. Simple, no? Okay. What's the template? It's another template, no? So the title is already appropriate. Okay. Menulay ko lang. Okay. Any questions? So make sure your website is ready by Monday because I will start checking assignments. Okay. Ang iba, meron nang nakagawa ng conversion. Maraming nang nakagawa. Okay. Do you have any questions so far? So next meeting, I'm going to discuss the arrays, no? Again, no? Arrays and objects, and I will show you the shopping cart example, which you can use for your payroll program. Okay, but you can already, okay, explore this, no? You can already explore this, no? The shopping carts, okay? Because from now, we only have 2 meetings more, okay? 4 assignments, okay? Suarez, there are 4 assignments. Okay. I'll edit this na lang, no? Gawin ko na lang itong ano, H2. Okay. H3. Ito, Celsius, Fahrenheit. Anyway, we still have time, no? Celsius, meters to feet. Meters. No? So you will H3. Okay. Assignment number 2. It's here now. Sorry. Assignment number 2 is income tax calculator. Okay. What's assignment number 3? There's something wrong with my ano. Is there something wrong? Assignment number 4 is number 3 is factorial from average. Okay. Assignment number 4 is simple payroll. Okay, we save this. Okay, do you follow? It's there, no? It's there in the website. Okay. The assignments are not those that are not my examples, because if they're there, you can easily copy them. Mabano? Not the examples, but these are the assignments you need to make. First is the conversion. Mabano? Okay. Second assignment is income tax calculator. You read the description in Dagler. The third assignment is factorial sum and average. And the fourth assignment is simple payroll. Okay? Hindi ito, no? Because if you're going to make this, you just go this there and then you paid source. You already have your answer, no? Okay? Okay? Any questions? Okay. So if there are no other questions, we might as well end the session. No? We are 10 minutes advanced. No? I am not going to introduce a new topic. Next two meetings, the last two meetings will be for our last topic. Okay. So see you next meeting. Everyone remember, no? Our summative test will be on November 3. Okay. So see you next meeting. Thanks everyone. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye. No? Goodbye and see you next time.